Hi, my name is Carsten. I'm calling in from San Francisco. I'm going to walk through some of the material that may be very useful for you if you're participating in our Supernova Hackathon. What you see here is the Supernova website. And at the top, there is a button that takes you to a dev post where you can register to sign up for the hackathon. When we go down on the page, you will see some very useful resources. We have our developer resource website. If I click this one, we have a collection of links of articles and GitHub repos and sample projects that should inspire you and should be very useful if you are new to the internet computer, even if you have experience with the internet computer. See what other has done, how they've solved different problems. Below the link for the developer resources, we have a link for our developer Discord server. This is a great place to meet other internet computer developers, and you can ask questions or share your own experiences there. We have done quite a few workshops already, and you can watch the recordings. Some of these recordings are taking you from scratch, where you have like an empty code editor and take you through the process of creating a dApp. I invite you to join us for our office hours. You can join just to listen in and see what other people are working on, or you can ask questions. So feel free to stop by our office hours as often as you can. Let's go back to the top. So what I want to look at next is our smartcontracts.org, the documentation website. And on this website, you will find sample code. There's a wiki. The wiki is different from the documentation in the way that it goes deeper on some of the topics. So if you need a deeper understanding of some of the things, you would typically find the answer on the wiki. There's a link to our community forum and, of course, the Supernova website. But let's dive into the documentation by clicking the Start Building button. What you see here is how to develop a Hello World dApp in 10 minutes. And I think this is a really good starting point for any developer. Even if you have tried to develop some things on the IC before, or if you're brand new to the IC, this basically takes you through all the steps to deploy a dApp that has both a front end and a back end. What you see here is the end result. This is what you're ending up with. As it shows here too, you can also make a call directly to the back end if you don't want to use the front end. The things that are covered in this tutorial is actually everything you need to go through if you want to start developing on the IC, if you want to build a dApp, if you want to deploy it locally, and if you want to deploy it on the IC so it's live so you can see it from anywhere. It walks through the process of installing the tools if you don't have that done already, how to set up a new project, and this is a great starting point for any dApp you want to build. Even if you want to build something bigger, when you run this create project, then you get all the files you need to get it going. I'll not go into details what is in this project and how you do it. I think that's a great exercise for you to do on your own. But I will just go down to the bottom here. And this section shows you how to deploy it onto the IC. So it's public available for everyone. If you're interested in looking at the files without going through this process, we can take a look at the projects in GitHub. Here we see an overview of the files that are generated automatically when you run the create new dApp. Some things to notice here is the dfx.json. It will show you the two canisters, the canister smart contracts, one for the front end and one for the back end. And in the source, you will also see this is the back end where we have, this is in Motoko. And we have one for our front end, which is in JavaScript and in HTML. And this is the structure of a typical project. Let's go back to the documentation. we have different languages that we support on the IC. So let's go take a look at that. In here, we have listed 3 languages: Rust, Motogo, and Candid. Rust is a general language that can be used across many platforms and for many types of applications, where Motogo is our own in-house developed programming language specifically for developing dApps on the IC. Candid is the interface between the front end and the back end. So we have developed our own language that we use to expose the back end's functionalities to the front end. And Candid also exposes this so you can make a call to the backend canister from a terminal. Let's take a look at Motogo. In here, we have a lot of the concepts. If you're new to Motogo, there's a lot of good information about the syntax, how you get started, the different types, all these things that are very basic and fundamental to the language. And when you want to start coding, we have a language quick reference, which is very useful, how the different types work. We have different libraries that are available, how you access them. So everything you need to get started is in this section under Motogo. It also shows some examples of how to use some of the different concepts, and it goes into details, and you will find plenty of examples here. Both Rust and Motogo are supported languages for building dApps on the IC. Whether you should choose Rust or Motogo is really up to you. If you know Rust already, that will be easier and you'll get productive faster. You can do the same as you can if you use Motogo. Motogo is a little bit easier to learn typically. If you don't have any Rust experience and you want to build on the IC, then Motogo could be an easier solution to get up to speed. It is very well documented, as we saw, and there are plenty of code samples in our DFINITY/examples repo on GitHub. I recommend going through some of our tutorials. We have some of them here in our documentation. In our documentation, we cover the 3 languages, Rust, Motogo, and Candid, but you're not limited to those 3 languages. You can develop dApps in many different languages. Here are a few examples. We have Motogo and Rust CDKs, but you can develop your front end in any JavaScript-based framework. And the community has contributed agents for Java, Python, Go, and more. And everything that can be compiled to WebAssembly can actually also run in a canister. So you're not limited to the options that we show you in the documentation, but that's what we support and where we have the best chances of helping you if you run into problems. The developer forum and the Discord server are great resources if you get stuck or if you need advice about best practice. There are always a lot of developers who are happy to help you get unstuck or to advise you which way to go. And I encourage you to also join our office hours that we run regularly during the hackathon. Even if you're just interested in listening into what other people are working on and what kind of challenges they have, or maybe if you have a question, feel free to ask. We are there to help you succeed with your project. So I wish you the best of luck, and please reach out if you have any questions.